wanted to have my own talk show. I think this is really cool. Hey there, imaginary friends. I'm Alexandra. This is alexandrarants. And my chair is my table, so I'm gonna put this tea down. Today I want to talk to you about something that I realized while I was burnt out, which is that time isn't really money. Money is time. And let me get back a little. The thing is, 2 years ago, I burnt out, and it was one of the scariest experiences in my life because I couldn't think. I would have anxiety attacks and panic attacks all the freaking time. I couldn't even go to the grocery store. It was getting to a point where I was so debilitated that my brain was simply static. I believe that in every single moment of our lives, we are given this sort of horrible thing as an opportunity to become better, to grow bigger, to realize our strengths and really become who we are meant to be. So I think that as horrible as it was, me going through burnout is something that taught me a lot of things. And one of those things is that time isn't money. Money is time. And I know those two things sound incredibly similar, but hear me out, okay? Like, the whole concept of time is money comes from this sort of productivity mindset. And it actually originates from the 1700s, where it was said that time is money because if you're not monetizing anything you do in your spare time, you are simply lazy and wasting your potential. Now, I relate this to modern day rhetoric of, waking up at 4 a.m., doing all of these things, like having all these side hustles. I don't really think that people are advised to have hobbies anymore, because everything is oh, you can earn money by doing this, you can earn money by doing that. Oh, you like knitting? You can sell your knits online. And honestly, I was this person. I was the person who a friend of mine is oh, I like photography. And I'm like, maybe you can become a photographer. Maybe you can earn money through that. Have you thought about monetizing your passion? And it's I look back at myself being girl, chill. But seriously, the thing is, it comes from this perspective of no amount of enough is ever enough. It has to be more. And for me in my life, how it played out was that I wanted to work more in order to earn more money, in order to become better at my job and earn more and grow higher and become this creative genius that would do all these amazing things. But the thing is, it doesn't really work that way. Actually, they say that in order to get a good pay increase, you need to change jobs every 1 to 2 years nowadays. And also, the hardest workers don't get compensated the best. It's actually usually the more social people. But that is corporate economics that I am not really a fan of, and it shows because I'm here talking to you about how I got disillusioned with the whole thing. So here we go. But the thing is, there is this notion of perfectionism, and it really creeped into my mind in the sense that I was laying in my bed on a Sunday thinking of how I should do something more with my day in order to make it worthwhile. For me, rest was not really making the most out of it. Chop chop, time is money. I had to do more. I had to be productive. And at one point, I really became so uncreative. The thing is, what I was doing as a job was my hobby. It was the thing that I love doing, which is writing. And in my free time, I was pushing myself to do more writing. But of course, my brain is tired. I have written out everything that I could have possibly written. So naturally, I didn't have a lot of energy to pour that into my hobby as well, right? So I didn't have any inspiration. I was just tired. And instead of allowing myself to be tired and sort of being okay, just breathe, it's fine, you got this, just let yourself relax, I was on the treadmill. I believed that the world did not relax. Other people did not relax. The people I look up to, they didn't relax. They grinded all the freaking time. What I realized at the end of the day was that life is short, and I was basically trading it all away to get some money. I realized that there was not really a point to doing what I was doing because, yes, I was working my dream job. I was doing my hobby as labor, but I also realized that I wouldn't do that again because it made my hobby suck. It made it so boring and stressful, and every time I would do it, I would just think about work and I wouldn't have any fun with it. all I would think about is how I can monetize it, how I haven't monetized it yet in my creative capacity. But at the same time, I had no time or energy to invest in monetizing it properly. So at the end of the day, it was just this cycle of going to work and feeling exhausted and feeling like you don't do enough things that you love, but then having no time for it. And that is kind of my daily experience. And everyone, even when I was on burnout leave, everyone would keep telling me, you have to get better and come back to work. Work helps you. It's good to go to the office. It makes you feel better. But it didn't. It didn't make me feel better. And the fact that at that point I was so disillusioned with everything didn't really help. Just to put it into perspective, I was getting 15% of what the company was getting just for my work, which was insane. And the thing is, with YouTube as well, for a long time, I would think that I would have to make money off of it. So of course, I have to think of it as a business. I have to think of how to monetize it, how to build a brand, how to do all of these things. And all of that screams time is money. Like, it takes the fun out of it. What it's supposed to be about is just sitting in front of a camera and sharing whatever you want to share. It's not supposed to be overthought, how to monetize this and do that. It's like, what about authenticity? What about just doing what you love? And I think that the concept of time is money takes the fun out of things. It makes everything about productivity, about work, about, doing what you have to do. At the end of the day, it's supposed to be more fun. Like, isn't life supposed to be more fun? Honestly, I think that a lot of that productivity discourse takes away the fun out of things. Like, of course, you can have a hobby and just treat it as a hobby without the idea of earning money off of it. When I thought that I wanted to start a YouTube channel, I felt so excited and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is gonna be so great. I'm gonna have so much fun. I love filming. I love public speaking. It's amazing. But then I realized like, oh, it could be monetized and that puts so much pressure on it. So now I'm kind of like thinking of like building a brand and all of these things, and there's all those videos of how to make the most out of it and so on, which I love. Props to the creators that are helping people out, but at the same time, me thinking about that part before thinking about this part really takes the fun out of it. And I think that we should put the fun back into a lot of things. And I think that starts by taking charge of our time and taking charge of our energy. Because when I wasn't in charge of my time and I wasn't in charge of my energy, I felt a little bit trapped. I felt like my company was dictating everything for me, and if I didn't do what they expected of me to do, I would basically lose everything that I had, and that would be no fun, right? So I felt like I had to do all of these things all of the time in order to make things fun for me in the long run. But at the end of the day, I'm never gonna get this time and this day back. I am never gonna get this year back. I'm not gonna get this month back or this day. It's gonna be what I make of it. Eventually, after doing a lot of therapy, I realized what my values are, which are being closer to my family, having fun, having friends, building things that I love, and doing the things that I love, not because I'm gonna get money for them, but because I love doing them. And I truly, truly believe that by doing what you love, it brings out a better energy into the universe, and you're basically gonna get so much more abundance just by feeling better. At the end of the day, when I realized that I was trading my finite resources for their infinite resources, I had a choice to make. And by that point, I had gone through so much therapy that basically the only two options were to keep doing what I was doing and keep going at my job, trying to tackle my anxiety and be productive again, or to take my disillusioned ass back home and move back with my family. It was actually one of my biggest fears at some point, and it ended up becoming a rebellion. It ended up becoming the coolest thing that I've done in a while. I haven't regretted it since. Of course, I do miss my old life here and there. I kind of reminisce on the good old days, but a thing about nostalgia is you tend to remember only the good parts. But I keep reminding myself of how I actually felt and how I could and couldn't relax, and at the end of the day, I'm very grateful for where I am right now. If there's anything that you can take away from this video, consider spending more time doing things that make you happy and more time with people that you love, because time, it may not be money for all of us, not all of the time, and it shouldn't be, because you hold the power. You hold the essence of what makes their money valuable, because without your labor, without your energy, without your time, their money is useless. It's just a piece of paper drifting in the wind and a little dot or a 0 or a 1 on a computer. So think of what makes you fulfilled and just focus on that. Take a year off, travel, get a van, and really embrace life for what you want it to be like. Think of your values. Think of what you want to do with your life. There are no restrictions of any of your dreams. Just consider what you would love to be doing, and just do that. Because capitalism will keep on capitalizing, the grind will keep on grinding, but at the end of the day, your time and your energy is only yours to manage. Use it wisely. And remember that the only thing that has power over you is the thing that you give your power to. So have fun and see you next time. Bye. Honestly, my battery ran out like 5 times, and then